welcome to another episode of the Ripple Podcast, where we talk about things that are important to small businesses. And I am a fangirl of our next guest. It's kind of a funny story how I got introduced to her, but I'm super excited to have her as a guest on the podcast today. Summer Phoebus is with She Works His Way, and it's a really fantastic organization that I found out about from my husband, which is a different thing.
That's neat.
Yeah. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. That's very cool.
Yeah. So here's the story. We are StoryBrand certified guides, and we were at the StoryBrand training in Nashville back in February, I think it was. But I think right before that, Brian was looking at who the other certified guides were. And so he was just scrolling through the website and looking, and he came across something that said She Works His Way. And he's like, what is that? And obviously just the name, he kind of had some indication of what that was. So he dug in a little bit and saw that the She Works His Way website is very story branded and fantastic and perfect. And so he sent it to me. He said, I think this is something you might really be interested in. And, literally, I mean, really, Donald Miller should be talking about this, because I think I was on the website and had paid and become a member within maybe 90 seconds.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was fantastic, because just like y'all talk about, I mean, I'm a business owner. I'm super involved in our community and find it difficult to find the perfect group to network with that gets you, that understands. And I mean, I'm involved in a lot of networking things, but they're always chamber related or BNI or whatever it might be. And so I was really excited. And so then I did Productivity Academy.
Yes.
You.
You're like a star student, a total star student. Yes.
That's awesome to hear from the teacher, of course.
Yeah, for real.
So, we have similar types of audiences, business owners. While we don't specialize in women, you guys do. Influencers, you're a trainer. Keeping all of that together, it's not the easiest thing to do. And so I'm guessing that one of your favorite topics is being productive.
Absolutely.
That's how I met you, was Productivity Academy through She Works His Way. But you have your own background and history. So why don't you start off with just talking a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, and then answer the question, is productivity your favorite topic? Is that what you really enjoy most about your role with She Works His Way? And if not, what is it?
Okay. So my story feels so long, just because it's been all over the place. The way God has worked in my life has been very out of the ordinary from many women who are doing what I do now or in business the way I am. But I'll tell you first, I am not a college graduate. I actually am an entrepreneur through and through. So it was just in my blood. I mean, I remember being in high school and just thinking, can you guys just let me out of here? I just want to go and do and be creative. And I have all these ideas. So I left high school and really got married super young, and then started in retail. And I love fashion. That's always been something I love. I love design. I think I just like pretty things. And so it was a really cool place for me to start at a young age. And I was the youngest store manager in $1 million store in a real well-known company. And I just fell in love with corporate situations. So I loved the growth of business. I love the way retail always compared you to LY, which is last year. So I really, that motivated me. That was so exciting to look at where we were, where we are now, and where we're going to go. I love to measure things. it was also a challenge. They would give you a certain amount of hours to get everything done in. You squeeze your employees in this time, you get everything stocked, you get everything pretty, you do your customer service, you take care of people, back office and operations. Like I got to do a little bit of everything and I loved it. So that was kind of what set me on the path to business training. And as much as I didn't go to college, I think that was training that was invaluable to me. It was just huge. Working with so many different people. So then fast forward, health and fitness came into the picture when we were living in Georgia. My husband was a pastor and we were in a very tiny town in South Georgia. And there was there was one gym, but it was like no girls allowed kind of gym. Right, so right. I walked in and I walked right back out. Plus I had never really taken classes. I just got to this place where the South, the food, I mean, it was amazing. And I had eaten one too many servings of crock pot macaroni and cheese. And it was like, I think I need to do something. So I went and I found out through a friend that was at our church that someone was building a gym. And I met his wife, and his wife came up and said, if we build you a group fitness room, would you teach fitness? And that sounds really not like a big deal now, knowing what I do now. But I had never taught a class. I had never done anything. I was not a trainer. I don't know why they asked me. I do. It was the Lord. But I don't know how that all came to be. It didn't make sense. And I said yes, because of course I did. And so they built this building, and I started my first business inside of a gym. And then I was the GM of the gym as well.
Okay. All right.
So that's where I learned how to run a business outside of a retail store. So I got the gym side of things and just took the gym. I think we grew. We had a really good, it was the second quarter I was in business. We grew by 55%, grew membership, and just started a group fitness business from scratch. And it was booming. It was amazing. Well, fast forward a couple of years, and God called us away up here to Delaware. So I left all of that behind, came to Delaware, and towards the beginning of Delaware, I didn't have a ton of stuff going on. So I kind of came to this place where I missed the fitness part of things, and I knew how to do that. So walked into a karate place, asked if they had floor space for me, went in and started a business here.
That's just a little bit bold.
I don't know. I was grocery shopping, and here's what it was. It was a karate studio that had mirrors. And I'm like, oh, mirrors, that could totally be fitness. Like in 5 seconds, I could make that happen. So the guy about leaped over the desk at me to say, yes, please. I guess he was really struggling in business. So I came in, helped him with his business, grew my business. And then at that point,
so you're consulting and didn't even realize it.
Exactly. So that's where consulting came in. And I realized I really love to help small business. I love local business. It's just a passion. And so that's what happened there. We outgrew that space, moved on to a bigger, we're in a 4,000 square foot facility now. And essentially it's a business model that I'm really comfortable with. I'm more of a landlord now. So I have a dance studio inside of there. I have a trainer, a wellness trainer who's incredible, well-known in our community inside of there. And then I teach and train in the SDF side, Summer Dawn Fitness. So that's where I am now. And as far as productivity, is it my favorite topic? Yeah, it's definitely one of them. I will tell you, Michelle, my business partner, can tell you this. My husband can tell you this. I get bored really quick. So right now at this season of my life, productivity is one of my favorite topics. I don't know that it'll be forever, but right now I very much love it. I think it's been the steady constant in my life that's allowed me to grow without the same training that a lot of people have growing up and moving into careers. So,
well, it sounds like it's been kind of a steady, consistent theme throughout everything that you've done, all the way back to your first real retail job where you were having to do the scheduling and the back end stuff. And even, like you said, making things pretty, all of that can't happen without systems in place. And
absolutely.
I totally get that. We were super, super lucky that a couple of years ago, so I'm a trainer. I teach workshops and classes, and I'm out in the community doing that all the time. And I met this guy, JR, who I called the Google guy because he was a Google trusted photographer. And so he was teaching classes and we were referring to each other.
Yeah.
And at some point he decided, I don't want to do this by myself anymore. I want to be on a team. And so JR came to us and was going to be a team. We didn't have a space for him. So trusting God, we knew we couldn't pass up the opportunity to have JR Portman on our team.
Yeah.
And so we took that insane step and said, yeah, come on in, but you're going to have to find your own spot. So we didn't have a position for him. We just said, we know we need you and you need to come and figure out what your job is.
Yeah.
And so you would love him because his job really has been, he's our chief operations officer now, but we both are account managers or executives with our clients. And the big thing that JR has done has been to come in and figure out our holes and fill them with processes and procedures. And so without him, I don't know where we'd be. He's fantastic. So I totally get that.
Love that. Yeah. Yeah. Productivity. I taught a class last week about systems. So that is right up there with productivity of what I love. But he sounds like a fixer. And when people ask me what I do, it's so hard to just, first of all, I don't want to bore them with the whole list. So I'm like, I fix problems.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So
health problems, business problems, we got it.
But also you're a finder too, right? And that's because we didn't even know the problems that we had or what we knew we had holes, but we didn't know what they were. And so he had to find the problem and then fix it.
Isn't that funny how you can be inside of your business and just feel like you eat, sleep, and breathe it, but it takes someone looking from that mountaintop view to really identify those pain points. It's amazing.
Without a doubt. Yeah. Because you're so hyper focused on, you've mentioned this as well before, but Stephen Covey's 7 habits, one of them, obviously first things first in that time quadrant. So for a while, Brian and I had that time quadrant and we would track everything that we were doing. He's much better at it than I am. And the amount of time that we spent in the urgent, not important, was alarming.
Isn't that mind-blowing?
It is. And it's even more mind-blowing when you thought you had a little bit of insight into that and then you track it and you start looking at it and you realize that it's so far off from what you thought. So JR has been great about that. So I want to ask you about productivity at one more of the academy with She Works His Way, because I know you also you in addition to your gym business, don't you also have a fashion line of clothing?
We did. We actually, Michelle and I both ran CTC, Cross Training Couture, together. That actually was sold last year. So Michelle founded that several years back, and then Delaware was the home for it for a brief period of time, but God's kind of moved us on. Still an incredible brand to follow, but yes, so we did.
And I do follow him, but
yes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now we're working on some really cool She Works His Way stuff though. So that's going to be fun. Yeah.
Oh, I love how y'all are constantly not reinventing yourself, but inventing new things to offer. I love the 30-day business challenge that is happening right now. That was the surprise. I don't get to listen to all the classes like I want to, so I try to go back and listen to them. I'm one of those, I listen to the recordings in the car driving down the road kind of thing. But
good.
Productivity Academy, I know with my classes that I teach, we joke about having these super fans who take the class multiple times. It's like a movie, like I go to a movie and I watch it, but then I watch it again a second time. I'm like, I don't remember that part. When did that happen? So people told me, well, I'll take your class because I'll come back. And the second time I take it, I leave with another new thing. So do you find the same thing? Do you have people taking your Productivity Academy more than once?
I do. And it's funny. It's not the people who necessarily didn't get it the first time. It's some of my biggest success stories come back and they'll take it again, because I honestly think motivation is one of the key factors of being productive. So it's kind of like in your health and fitness journey, changing things up every once in a while, or doing a cleanse or doing something like that. When it comes to business and being productive, it's that motivating factor that gets you excited, and someone else has to remind you what the payoff is. And then you're like, yep, this is why I worked so hard. So plus my curriculum at this point, we haven't become a video driven academy yet, where it's like videos that you watch. Right now it's live, and it truly changes based on the group. The day one, we do introductions. And honestly, I believe that it just kind of becomes what it is out of those introductions, out of knowing what the pain points are and understanding my clients that are a part of it. So yeah, it's different almost every time. Same basics, but we'll chase different rabbit trails depending on who's in the group. But it does happen.
And I mean, we joke, right? We're a marketing agency. We joke that we go to bed the smartest in our industry and we wake up the dumbest because things change so quickly.
Oh, that's good.
Facebook decides, oh, we're doing this now, or Google. And so I would think on your side, being the leader of the Productivity Academy, apps change and there's new apps out to the market. And so I figured that your Productivity Academy changes. And so I thought, I left with some really big takeaways, and I still think back, I haven't really put that in place yet, or I haven't put that in place yet. But I did leave with a few big things that made me look at my calendar in a better, more efficient way, but probably turning off the notifications, which these really aren't like rocket science. Oh my gosh. But it's like you said, from an outside perspective, this is what's really going to help you the most. And it's made a huge difference. In fact, I turned off every notification, and it was so bad. Girl. It was so bad though that my husband was like, I can't even reach you now. Like, we usually communicate through Facebook Messenger. So I turned that off. And so he would then text me, and I wasn't getting it. And then he would email me, and he's like, you've turned it all off. You have to pick one and leave that on. So I did.
That's awesome. And that's hilarious.
But my son couldn't text me. Nobody could reach me.
I bet you had some really amazing focus time.
That's what I was going to say, but I was getting a lot done. So, I love
it. Anyway. That's so cool.
I may be one of the ones taking your academy again, but I think more than anything is to get whatever's new. Maybe it's FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. I don't want to miss whatever the new cool productivity thing is. So.
I hear you. Well, you're welcome back anytime. Telling you. Love to have
I love it. Okay. So another thing, and you kind of referenced this, is that you also talk about this within the She Works His Way community, is you went from, I don't know what I would say, where you're not brick and mortar into brick and mortar. I know you've taught some of those classes. So for those business owners, because we have people listening to this podcast that are, they're following us because we're a marketing agency and we're talking about things that matter to small business owners. So if you had something that you wanted to share with people, maybe your top, without taking away from, I don't want them to not have to take your class or follow you, but something to share with people that are in that transition, because in the classes that we teach, our intent is teach a man to fish, right? So I want to teach you how to do your own Facebook ads. I want to teach you how to do email marketing. I want to teach you how to run your own Facebook or Instagram campaign. And they dive in, they take our class, they learn how to do that. But some of them are not quite to the enterprise level of business, but they're at their kitchen table working, and they're thinking about, maybe I should get my own office outside of the house now. And how do they know when to do that? Like, what are some things that you share with people that are considering that?
Yeah. So my business was primarily online before it went to brick and mortar. So I absolutely understand that transition. When I moved to Delaware, I had left the brick and mortar and came back to online. So I kept running the online business. I loved helping people, but there was just a void because I had learned that brick and mortar is what I loved. So it was kind of one of those things that I knew I was ready, but I didn't have a clientele base. My clientele base was not local. So I was like, if I show up and do this, how will I get people here? And I think my best advice is do it small. It's okay. Baby steps are okay. Do it small. It doesn't have to be this huge, massive launch day.
Yeah.
In terms of brick and mortar, that's a little bit different than online. You want to drum up big buzz. You want to be huge. You want to be loud. You want everybody to see it. You want to be in everybody's face. When it comes to brick and mortar, it is okay to let people trickle in. It is okay to start small, very grassroots. The way you do that is you find a place like I did. I walked into a karate studio and said, hey, can I borrow the floor in here for a couple hours?
I love that.
So,
like people don't think that's a big tip right there, is that they think they have to
absolutely.
go find a realtor. Let me go find this commercial spot that's
Oh,
open,
goodness.
but
No, I would have
finding,
panicked. I would have absolutely
yeah,
panicked and probably just, I'm not a huge risk taker, which is out of the ordinary for an entrepreneur. So
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
like risk. I like to be safe, especially starting it later in life with a family. I mean, what I decide to do affects the rest of them. So,
right,
so walking in nice and slow was great. Having opportunities to barter with other business owners and share, I think it's just
mhm,
so smart. So
yeah,
we started out really, really small, and my rent was $0 because I said, let me come in for 2 months and see if there's anything here. And if there
that's
is, you're going to win, because he's already paying the rent, right? It wasn't going to
right,
hurt him.
yeah,
And I had found a place that I'm bringing a bunch of moms in, and he offers karate to kids. So it's
right.
like, it
It was a
really
win-win.
worked out. Absolutely. So I would just say, don't be afraid to start small. Baby steps are absolutely okay. Don't overthink it. And there's always a way to get around the big financial bite that you're
Right.
afraid you'll have to take. So,
Yeah. That I love that advice, because we started our business inside the Louisiana Small Business Development Center. They had an incubator program. And so it was kind of that easy entry. So you kind of graduate after a certain period of time, they increase your rent, and
oh,
but
that's
they
cool.
they are there. So it's part of the SBA nationally, but each state has their own chapters, I guess you would call it. And there was
Mm-hmm.
one at our local university. So we had access to advisors and consultants, and it was all free.
Wow.
Your tax dollars pay for this, but we had a small office inside their building. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was that slow, gradual entry into business. And we did go from our kitchen table to the Small Business Development Center, and then
Love it.
ultimately a building that we rented, and then now we're in this one. And so you know, you don't often get encouraged in that way. You
Yeah.
kind of get told by the big
Yeah.
professionals in the world, okay, you need to go get this huge gigantic business loan, and you need to
Yeah.
do this, and these are the steps to follow. But there's plenty of people in the world who have done it the way that we've done it, which
That's
is,
right.
you know,
That's right.
just kind of taking your time getting there. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's
And I have both my businesses, both my brick and mortars were debt free. So that is something to me that just, there's freedom in that, and it allows me to do business the way I want to do business and without so much pressure. So I get to take care of the people and not worry about the masses, if that makes sense. So I think
yeah.
that's a huge, huge plus.
Well, and when you talk about taking care of the people, you not only have your business and you teach productivity, you really are, at least from the outside, a master at efficiency. Because I think about, and I love, one of the biggest takeaways that I got from you was literally a phrase that you said. I swear, I think this was you. Tell me if it wasn't you, because
Okay,
I've
I
been
will.
told
I
that it was
promise.
you. Is that the home life balance is a
Hmm.
joke.
Right,
That you can't, the word, if in and of itself, balance means it's perfect.
right,
And that's not the case.
right.
And then I was in church. I've told this story to a few people. I was in church just a couple months ago, maybe not even that long. And during the tithe prayer, my husband and we always hold hands, like, you know, it's like this joint
Yeah,
tithe prayer.
I love
And
that.
it was like this kind of handhold, like
Yeah.
you're standing there, and it's just like this slight, and I felt the presence of the Lord just say to me, whatever you do, do it.
Hmm.
Like if you're with your child, if I'm with Peyton, he's 15,
Hmm.
like be with him.
Hmm.
If I'm with a customer, be with that customer. If you're
Mm-hmm.
going to hold Brian's hand, hold it. Quit with this little halfway stuff. Like, go all in.
I love
Whatever
that.
you're going to do, just do it. And it all comes back to when you said that you know what I'm talking about, the whole
Yeah.
balance thing.
Juggle.
That it's
Juggle.
right. It's
Yeah.
about juggling. And so whatever you're doing at the time, do it. And it seems like you do that so well. I mean,
Oh,
just from
thank
the
you.
outside, and we're not like close or anything, but you watch your influencer, and I'm like, man, she's doing all this stuff. I mean, I'm getting to She Works His Way because
Mhm.
you've been in retail, you've got your own business with the gym. In the past, you were doing the, I was going to say CrossFit Couture, but
Cross training.
cross
Yeah.
training couture.
Yep. Yep.
So you did that, and then I just watched. I'm like, wow, you're teaching productivity. You're actually doing it. So what I'm getting at is you do more than just you're actually walking the talk, right? Talk a little bit about She Works His Way, because I'm just really obsessed and in love with it. It's one
Me
of those
too.
things, like I think about, I don't know how I functioned
Yeah.
without it. Not at a, I mean, and y'all would say the same thing. You're not God, but some of the things I've been through in the last couple of months, I think back, like, I don't know how people make it through their day-to-day life without God. From a business perspective, I don't know how I've been able to accomplish what I've been able to accomplish without She Works His Way. And I'm not even fully engaged in it because I don't get to be super involved in the chats in the Facebook group. I don't get to participate in the live trainings or workshops or classes, which I'd love to do. I'd love to be able to, be in the chat and type
Yeah.
in the Facebook Live. I just can't.
Yeah.
But I just love what y'all are doing. Take us, the listeners, from you being, gym owner, mom.
Mm-hmm.
Your husband is a pastor, right? Am I
Mm-hmm. That's right.
correctly?
Yeah.
I mean, just being a pastor's wife by itself can be a job,
Yeah.
right?
For
And
sure.
mom can be a job by itself, and
Yeah.
you have your own, and now you're doing She Works His Way. Like, transition me into how that happened.
Well, She Works His Way is it's the perfect center ground for all those other things. So it's much more natural than it even sounds. She Works His Way wasn't so much an extra thing that got added to my plate. It was the foundation so that everything else kind of was able to build on it. Because I'm a She Works His Way member before I'm
Yeah,
a teacher. You know what I mean? Like
I do.
that community is just so important to me. But Michelle and I had gotten really close working together on another business outside of She Works His Way. And then our husbands and Michelle they were all in seminary in Texas together.
Okay.
So we didn't know each other super well, but we met there, left, got involved in business together, chatted every once in a while, and then got involved in a discipleship group where she and myself and two other of our dear friends would do discipleship at 5 a.m. And that was the start of She Works His Way. And we were all moms. We were all working women. 3 of us were pastors' wives. So it was kind of this opportunity for us to come together and say, this is hard, but we are committed to doing this different because God's called us to do it different, and to remind each other we weren't alone. Because it feels really weird, when you sit down with a business mentor or you go to network somewhere and they're like, what's your 5-year plan? And I'm like, I don't actually know that because God's kind of in charge, and they look at you like you have 10 heads. So it's just different when you're doing business the Lord's way. So it all started right there. And that was the birth of She Works His Way. Then I did not work for She Works His Way. I supported it. I loved it. It started as just a social media account that Michelle was running. She is the most incredible writer, wordsmith. I mean, if there'll be stuff in my head and I'm like, Michelle, make this sound pretty. And it's like, boom. I mean, it's incredible. It's why she has the story brand the way you and your husband, like it takes a word person. So she was so good at just putting her heart out there on social media. And it was shocking how many women just took to it so
Right.
quickly. And I think we didn't even realize how much this was missing in the market or
Mm-hmm.
in this world of social media. And
Mm-hmm.
so once that started happening, from there, it built its own community. And I love the way She Works His Way grew, because we never said, oh, this is what's happening next.
Right.
God would do something and then we would react to it. And I think that's when you know you're going to see success, right? And when you're reacting what God is already doing.
Yeah.
So he brought this community together, and then this membership started. And I think she says it was a couple years. I don't feel like it was that long, but she says she was begging me to work for her for a couple years. And I was nervous to do it because I
Mm-hmm.
felt so intimidated by being a teacher of how to do it God's way, because I was just still learning. And I kind of
Right.
just had to get over myself
Mm-hmm.
and come to a place where we're all learning together. And God called me, and he called me to work for her. She had actually had an unpleasant experience, which is like never happens in a business relationship. And I kind of, as the best friend, was like, I'm going to protect you from this. Like, this is not going to happen again. And after that experience, I called her and I was like, I'm working for you. It's happening.
Yeah.
And from there, I mean, the roles have changed. I think I came in wanting to be behind the scenes business, and she and her husband, James, and God have just pushed me. At times it's really been uncomfortable, but they've pushed me so hard to be in a place where I'm a communicator now for She Works His Way.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point now, there's the membership community, there's the classes, but I think Michelle wrote our tagline a few months ago, and it was business training you can trust.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel like that just nails exactly what it is that we do. It's so hard and exhausting to have to decipher through the world's business training. What is for me? What is for someone else? Like, what do I pull from this and get rid of over here? And we call it a She Works His Way filter that we look at everything through. So we believe in doing business with excellence. We believe in productivity and systems and procedures and being incredible leaders. But more than anything, we believe that scripture calls us to that and tells us how to do it. And so, I mean, I'm sure you've heard it. You hear the motivational speakers speak all the time from the stage, and they're always quoting Jesus and never giving him credit, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So it's like he was the
All
best
the time.
leader. Right. So we are just a community who wants to do it well and be incredible businesswomen, but prioritize right, where it's God first, family second, and then our careers third. So it's a unique group of women. There's not a ton of women called to business like you and I are. So it makes it really special. But yeah.
Well, and even just the management of the Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
The things that y'all are doing in there that, y'all might not think, maybe you do, that it's that big of a deal, but even just like the Pay It Forward Friday prayer, where
Yeah.
I love that. And I've met another, I don't know if you know Holly Fisher.
Holly Fisher was my first She Works His Way consult client. Like, she was the first business consult I did for She Works His Way.
Okay. So I met Holly at also the Story Brand training in February in Nashville.
Wow.
Holly was sitting at my table directly across from me. And I don't even remember what attracted us to each other, but we very quickly learned that we have a lot in common. Not only do we both have a marketing company, we both were there for Story Brand training. We discovered that we were both in She Works His Way. So I joined She Works His Way in January, not February, because I was thinking it was after we went to Story Brand training. So she was a member of She Works His Way. So we started talking about Narrow, which I'm going to talk about in a second.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what planted the seed for me. Like, all right, maybe you really should think about going. And then we both are CrossFitters. So we had all these connections. And
that's so cool. I should have matched you guys up way before.
Yeah.
So
we're sharing a room together at Narrow. We're staying in the same hotel room. So
I'm so crashing your party.
Yeah, we even, you'll love this. We have scheduled, I think we did this at Storybrand at the
Mhm.
training, but we like have a phone call, I don't know, once a month, once every 2 months, something like that, just dedicated to, hey sister, how you doing? What's
Yeah.
going on in your business? What's going on in your life? But it's almost like, this is what you're going to love. It's almost like we had an agenda for the phone call, right? So it's a very
Yeah.
productive phone call. It
Yes.
doesn't have to drag on and on forever. It's literally us just checking in on each other. And, like her and her husband, I don't know if you know this, they just bought CrossFit Charleston. Uh,
Yes.
and so when all tech, hey, for you, this is so exciting. But I'm expecting, so transitioning over to the narrow conversation,
Mhm.
that that's just going to be a phenomenal weekend.
Oh, I
And
can't wait.
I just booked my flight there, and Brian was like, why are you flying in? So you check in on Friday. Why are you flying in Friday morning and flying home Sunday morning? The whole purpose of these things is to connect with people. Like, you need to go earlier, hang out with some people, spend some time. And so I did. I'm staying another night. So what should I expect at Narrow? So for those that are not members of She Works His Way,
Mm-hmm.
Narrow is your second annual.
This is our second
This
conference.
is your
Yes.
second conference. So it's
Yes.
a conference for the members of She Works His Way, right?
Mm-hmm. Actually, it can be anyone. You don't have to be a member of She Works This
Okay.
Way. So it's for any working woman who has the same desire to do work the
All
way we.
right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what should people expect at Narrow?
Oh my goodness. You know what? I think my favorite thing leaving last year is I've never laughed so hard.
Oh,
I
that's
am a
good.
total introvert. So that is one thing that is where, and Michelle she is an introvert in the way that she recharges alone.
Mhm.
However, like she is attracted to the crowd, whereas you'll find me in the closet. Like I'll be over here. So
That's surprising to me.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, I won't say that. I mean, multiple people have said that to me. It does surprise them that I'm an introvert. So,
Hmm.
but I am. I am super uncomfortable. And I think last year I opened up my talk with how many of you wanted to turn back around and walk out the doors when you got here. And it was like all my introverts right there. We were eye to eye, face to face, and we were like, we did this. We're here. We walked in. It was
Right.
uncomfortable and all is well. So I try to explain that to the extroverts that it's not against the conference. Like we're not against what they're doing. It's just uncomfortable.
Hmm.
I will tell you, I never have felt so comfortable so quickly in a room of so many women. The support and encouragement, I just felt like there was such a cheering on of each other. I mean, everybody wanted to know what each other was doing, and just watching from the stage, the relationships build over 48 hours. Like these girls
Hmm.
who went from like, you could tell like the normal awkward hello conversation to like holding on to each other. Like, I don't want to leave you at the end of the weekend was incredibly cool. But we will worship together. We will hear from God's word together. We will do business together. We will pray together. We will network in the most fun way possible. And it's just a weekend of your brain feels like it might explode kind of feeling, you know? I
Well, I
told somebody
think
the other
that,
day,
go
um,
ahead.
I told someone the other day, the ride home will be the most productive ride of your life. Like you were like leaving Narrow. I don't know how many people wrote business plans last year
Oh,
that
wow.
now at this point are like, these things are happening.
Hmm.
So it was like such a, just, it filled your tank up, but it
Yeah.
also just brought you to this place where you were motivated to do.
I think that you hit the nail on the head with the whole walking in and feeling connected and comfortable, is that there are so many we're like our own worst enemies sometimes, because there's so
Right.
many women's groups that you go to where it's catty and judgmental, and there's a click over here and a click over there. And
Yep.
I think that they all intend to not do that,
Mm-hmm.
but that's what often happens. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm excited that I'm really excited. The
I
closer it
cannot
gets,
wait.
right? You know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It is. It's crazy how close it is. I mean, it finally, the temperatures cooled down around here over the last like 2 days, and it might be just a fluke, but it finally started to cool down, and I just felt this like, oh, Nero's almost here. So
it is not cooling off down here. Let me tell you, not at all. We say we have 2 seasons, hot and hotter, and that's look, I'm wearing a t-shirt and I have shorts on today because the first Monday of every month, even though last week was Labor Day, so that's why we did it today, but our whole team goes and serves at the local food bank. So today was like casual day because it's hot and you're out delivering food.
Wow.
Summer, what's next for you? Anything fun, cool? What are you excited about?
I'm in a really cool season of life right now where I have a daughter who's a senior and a daughter who's a sophomore. So over the last 6 months, probably, God has started to allow me to pull back in some areas, and he's brought me some incredible women to help carry some loads. So at the studio, I've pulled back a little bit. Business consulting, I've pulled back a little bit. And I just don't want to miss anything. I've joked, I don't want to miss her sneeze this year, right? So really being present in that part has been awesome. And I mean, school just started last week. So I'm at this weird season where I don't know what's next, but God's stirring. There's definitely change on the horizon. And I see, I see things will not be this way for much longer. And I'm excited about it, but I don't have answers to what that is right now. So,
well, good for you. It's good that you're excited about it because a lot of people are so fearful of change and any kind of, like you said, season that they're in. We've been in one here ourselves, and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I love that you're able to have that time because they're teenagers. I have a teenage boy. He'll be 16 and start driving in just right about a month. And,
wow.
So I'm a little fearful of that, but
it's wonderful. They drive you around and you drink coffee. It's incredible. I promise.
Well, you know what I'm excited about is the other day, like we were out of eggs and it occurred to me, very soon I'm going to be able to say, Peyton, you should run
to get the eggs, please. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That is definitely the huge perk for sure.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that part of it, but also just the transportation to and from school. He's in a private school, so there's no bus or anything like that. And it's just like, to work. He works at Chick-fil-A, just all the things, Right. But I love that I don't know how yours are. Mine's super independent, but they still need you. And so you're able to be there, and you have a senior.
I do. It's crazy.
And mine's only a sophomore, but I think back, like his freshman year went so fast. So
yeah. I remember sitting on the bleachers her freshman year watching her play soccer, and it was senior night, and all the moms were beside me, just boo-hooing, and I'm like, y'all need to get yourselves together. And now I'm like, oh, okay, sorry about that. I get it.
Yeah. Because it's good.
It moves quickly.
I have 3 years left with him, but oh my gosh. I don't know. All right. So let's wrap up. I want to do this. We started doing this, I don't know, several episodes back, and it's just fun. We call it just the speed round. I stole this from another podcast. I wish I could remember who I stole it from, but it was just a fun way. So
I love it.
I'm just going to throw out a word or a phrase, and you're great at this because you can be really fast. You're not like, let's beat around the bush and have a long conversation about it. So one word, short, quick answer.
Okay.
All right. So best productivity tip.
Focus.
Okay. All right. Narrow.
Party.
All right. Your favorite exercise.
Oh gosh. My word would be change, because I can't do the same thing every day.
Okay.
But HIIT workouts. I love HIIT workouts because they're always different. And what does a HIIT workout do? It burns more calories in a certain amount of time than any other workout. And I'm efficient. So
that's what I was going to say. It makes sense. It's a whole efficiency thing. Yeah. That's why I love CrossFit too, because we get a lot done in a short time. Best book you've ever read.
Discipline by Elizabeth Elliot. As much as I love
Oh,
productivity, I struggle with discipline. And so people have always thought they went hand in hand with each other. So I don't just want to get things done quickly. I want to do things well, and I want to do them because I know they need to get done. And that book, it just speaks to being disciplined women. And my goodness, it will change your walk with the Lord. It will change your business. It will change the way you do your family. Yeah.
all right. I haven't even heard of that, so I wrote it down.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll put
There's
it
a
in the
She
show
Works
notes
His
as well.
Way. Yeah, and there's a She Works His Way workbook, a discipline workbook. We did it one summer where we read the book and we had a workbook. So it's in the resources in your membership portal. Go check it out.
Right. I'm writing it down. Very good.
Yay.
Okay. Your favorite book of the Bible?
Nehemiah. And it just as with everything, my books of the Bible change per the season of life I'm in.
Sure.
Nehemiah, I'm in a building phase, and it's weird. I built and I sustained for a while, and I'm back at this place where it's a changing season, and I'm kind of building, and I don't even know what I'm building right now. So it's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, that's very cool. All right. Do you have a life verse right now you want to share?
Jeremiah 29:13. It's, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. It just reminds me, just all in, like there's no halfway.
Right. I love that. That's awesome. And what you're most looking forward to?
Right now it's narrow.
Yeah,
I mean,
I figured you would say that.
Yeah, for sure. I tied with, my daughter turned 18 yesterday. So tied with watching God work in her life in this next season. I am like, it's like Christmas Eve on her life right now. Just real excited to see what he does with her.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. I just sent an email to my son today saying kind of the same thing. Like, yeah, love that. Okay. So do you have any last minute tips that maybe we haven't talked about, or something just kind of burning in your brain that you would want to share with our audience for small businesses? Doesn't matter what it's relating to, just anything that you want to share.
I would just say, I mean, obviously with She Works His Way and just my heart for the Lord, and everything to me is a ministry opportunity. I have always said, if you're a believer, you're a leader. So you can't say I'm not a leader. And local business is a bridge to local church. And I think if we remember that as business owners, it's not easy. This is difficult, but doing this in a way that isn't where the end of the story isn't handing them the receipt. It's what happens next. It's the trajectory that you set them on when they walk out of your business or out of your store or finish the purchase with you, what they see that's different in you. I don't know how many people will just say, and I love it, I think it's such a great compliment, but they'll be like, you're so happy, or what's so different about you? And it's just such a doorway without completely freaking them out, because I am in the Northeast, so they do get freaked out, to be able to just say what it is that's different, and you will look different. So just
business is our platform.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be this big pastor or whatever. You can just be yourself. And
often my husband is a pastor, and he is often envious of the way that I get to do ministry outside of the church. So it's exciting to watch. Yeah. It's exciting to watch.
That's very cool. So tell people how they can engage with you. Where can they find you?
Okay. So I'm really bad at social media. I'm the businesswoman that will tell you that right here off the bat. It is not my thing. She Works His Way is incredible with it. Michelle Myers, my business partner. You will love following her. But you can find me on Instagram at Summer Dawn Phoebus. I'm on Facebook. And honestly, that's about where I hide out. Because I am a true introvert even online.
Yep, I get that. I mean, I used to always get all these friend requests from people that would take my class. And several years ago, I was like, no, I share too much about my son. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you know what church we go to, you know where I work out, you know what our favorite restaurants are, where he goes to school. I get that.
Yeah.
All right. And sheworkshisway.com?
Sheworkshisway.com. The Narrow Conference is listed there. You do not have to be a member. It's going to be an incredible time. It's October 19th and 20th. And it's just it's a community that's different from any other. So the
Awesome.
website, as you mentioned earlier, it clearly defines who we are. So it's worth the visit just to go and
Yeah,
check it out.
definitely. And, I'm thinking, I don't even know that I'm following you on Instagram. I'll have to go take
Oh yeah. Come see me.
so.
Come see me.
Well, Summer, thank you so much for your time. I know you have kids to get to and all kinds of stuff to do. I really appreciate you spending some time with us today, and I will let everybody know. This will obviously be hitting our social media, will be on our website, but thank you again for your time. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure. So much fun.